Kentwood, Episode 2, Tricks of the Trade, by Jacob Thompson. Elderedge Kentwood was never an ordinary college professor, so there were many aspects of his career that puzzled lesser men. They wondered why he had so few graduate students, and how he got away with his allegedly eccentric behavior. This episode, which took place many years ago, will hopefully illuminate some of these points. As our story begins, he did something that became ever rarer as the years went by. He met with a graduate student.
You haven't convinced me, Dr. Kentwood.
I in no way need to convince you, you self-entitled reprobate. I would be ever so happy to never sign your thesis and send you straight to minimum wage purgatory where you belong.
I shouldn't have to go to this party. The girl, what's-her-name, is your student. I don't want to go to a frat house, and I don't understand why she would want to study there.
Rumor has it that you are amongst the most physically attractive graduate students, and that Layla Lawler is, to put matters crudely, a painted harlot. Well, it is natural for a man of my intellect to devise elaborate traps for my enemies. The simple are often best snared by the simplistic.
If you do know she is cheating, why don't you just flunk her? I have better things to do with my life.
Consider this. A man who shoplifts once is a shoplifter always. However, the only time in which the merchant may prosecute is when the miscreant is captured red-handed outside the premises. Miss Lawler must be caught in the act.
Can't somebody else do it?
Of course. Bear in mind, though, that I have yet to fully consider your thesis. Wouldn't you agree that there are a great many pitfalls for the novice researcher?
When I graduate, I am going to report you to the administration.
Huh. You can certainly try.
Once Patrick was gone, Kentwood telephoned me to set up his other sting operation that night at the frat house. Howdy do?
Kentwood speaking. It is of the utmost importance that you report to my office by 20 after the hour with disguise number 17.
My apologies, sir, but you have so many disguises that I cannot remember them all.
That disguise consists of the dreadlocked wig, the tie-dyed shirt in the shape of a T, the sandals, and the patchouli oil.
Are you quite sure that you can be a truly convincing hippie? Even if you can, I'm not certain if this is an appropriate disguise for the year 1984.
Rather than minding my business, it would serve you well to master your own impersonation. You are the least convincing pimp imaginable. Even were I not so repelled by human sexuality, I would avoid your wares, for you bear the unmistakable mark of the narc.
My apologies, Elderedge. I will be over with the costumes.
Disguises, Daniel. Costumes are what one dons at a party. We will be going to work.
You gotta be the worst pimp ever, letting that old man push you around.
I should be flattered. The job requirements of a literature professor are nearly the opposite of those of a street pimp. Besides, I would prefer not to dress up in the first place.
You can't even wear a feather boa right.
Could you tell me what role the conventions of metafiction play in the novels of John Barth?
Are you for real?
I'm just showing you that there are whole worlds that you don't understand. Now, let's get pimping. Neither Kentwood, Patrick, LaTasha, or myself were eager to crash this party, but crash it we all did. Patrick came first and met Layla Lawler.
I am a busy man, Layla. Why don't I just give you the answers and I can take off?
Well, why don't you just give me the answers and stick around? We could talk about the test or anything else.
If you actually want to study, I guess I can help you.
No. Let's start with the answer sheet and see where things go from there. I'm very grateful for your help.
Look, not that I care, but I feel obliged to tell you that this is actually cheating and that we shouldn't dignify it by calling it help. Now we can move on with our lives.
I'm gonna hang out with my friends, and you are, of course, invited. I'll forget about Kentwood, and you can forget about staying sober and keeping your shirt on.
Did you thank me?
Grazie, you guilt tripper.
By the way, if you think that you hate Elderedge Kentwood, you should know that the only people who hate him more than his students are his graduate students and his fellow teachers.
What's this I'm hearing about that most groovy and indefatigable master of deduction? Has he been hoshing your buzz?
Oh, for f***'s sake.
Cool it. Do you hate hippies or something?
I know this one.
Chill out, space cowboy. Not everything on Spaceship Earth revolves around your person. I'm baking more than one batch of hash brownies. You dig?
I did what you wanted, you saw it, and I'm out of here. Sign my damn thesis by the time I see you next week so I can get out of this clown show.
Hey, hippie, don't you know that it's the 1980s?
The sands of time shift slowly in my commune of solipsism.
I think I can use you, Mr. Hippie. Want to be my date?
In the meantime, I struggled with my own business transaction. Professor Kentwood's plan became apparent to me when I found out that our so-called client was University President Roy Grackle, or as LaTasha called him, G-Money.
I'm used to dealing with professionals.
Of course you are, Mr. President.
Stop calling me that. Unfortunately, I can't screw hookers for a living, so I'm not at work.
Very well, G-Money.
Don't go to that extreme either. I honestly don't know what you're still doing in this room. Any pimp who knows this business would have took 5 by now and gone to buy crack cocaine with the money that I just paid to pleasure myself with your whore.
That sounds incriminating. Or would be if this were being recorded.
Hey pimp, your voice sounds familiar. Where do I know you from?
Hey now, my dumbass pimp never talked rates. I get $100 an hour, and the clock starts when we get a loan.
I can't believe you forgot to bring up fees. Jesus! I know they say that pimping ain't easy, but it shouldn't be this hard for anybody.
I'm very sorry, but I will learn. I will now take my leave. Exeunt pimp.
Not a moment too soon. Why are we doing this in a crowded building anyway?
Did he get anything else right?
Fair enough.
I was cast out into the noisy party in my stupid getup and was immediately plagued with more attention than I wanted. Took several minutes for Professor Kentwood to find me.
Oh my God, it's a pimp! This is amazing. Do you know this hippie? His name is Lou, but I wish I met you first.
The whole capitalist system hushes my buzz, my lady. At least Brother Pimp is transparent about his whoring.
By the way, Lou, did you find what you wanted?
Who among us ever achieves nirvana, man? Myself and the spheres are still discrete entities. As for tonight's investigation, I can answer in the affirmative. And what of you, my colorful friend?
G-Money is busy, and I got the deal on tape.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's announce the most hilarious couple of the night. Layla, Lawler, and Hippie Lou.
Oh my God, we need to get up to the podium.
Professor Kentwood?
Why is he talking about Professor Kentwood?
He must be tripping on the brown acid.
Let's go.
Every year at this ball, we give $100 to the man or woman who finds the most awkward date. Layla Lawler, step up and collect your winnings.
I'm sorry for the humiliation, Hippie Lou, but at least somebody made money off of it.
Hippie Lou, as the biggest freak of the night, you are invited to give a speech.
Well. This is quite an honor for a burnt-out fool who consumed too many bong-water ice cream sodas in Haight-Ashbury, but it bears repeating that the most dangerous of animals wear bright colors to advertise their presence.
Drop the paint!
The rest of my speech is unworthy of you fools, and I suppose anticlimactic. Good riddance, hepcats. Lady Layla.
Hey, Hippie Pete, you need to go away now so I can hang out with my friends. Honestly, you must understand that it's not the 60s anymore. I'll give you $5 because I feel bad, even though I know you'll just buy booze or pot with it.
My dear, the name is Hippie Lou, not Hippie Pete. But never mind, for neither of those are really my names. You have been entertaining the company of Dr. Elderedge Kentwood, and I saw you conspire to cheat.
Get away from me, you freak. You're getting paint on me.
I have no intention of touching you. even if you do stand to learn that a little red paint never poisoned anyone.
Don't tell anyone I ever talked to you outside class. I would rather my friends think I was hanging out with a filthy homeless hippie than Elderedge Kentwood.
Very well, and I will see you in class.
Hippie Lou, you've been besplotched.
This mess is trifling compared to the aftermath of the case of the stolen abattoir. Now fetch me my ink pot and quill, Daniel.
Yes, Professor Kentwood. They're in one of the folds of this ridiculous jacket. Kentwood prepared a note in his elegant hand, which our old friend G-Money was supposed to see under the door.
Hey, G-Money, looks like we got a message from the Founding Fathers.
Only Eldredge Kentwood writes like that.
He has beautiful handwriting.
Yes, one of his many talents.
Let's read the letter.
I'd rather not. Here's how it will go. Blah, blah, words I have to look up. Threats, blackmail, blah, blah. Hooray! It's over. I paid for an hour with you, and I will enjoy a whole hour before I read Dr. Kentwood's baloney. I should have known something was up with that so-called pimp.
At the end of a long night, I finally dropped Kentwood off at the apartment where he lived in the days before he acquired the Victorian mansion he became known for. Why didn't we call the police? Was it because it would have been entrapment?
That should be obvious, even for you.
Please humor me. Why do we keep letting Dr. Grackle off the hook?
Were I to remove him, most of his likely replacements are scarcely qualified to feed goldfish, and were he to be replaced, he or she would have a fresh start. At any moment, we could turn Grackle out of his cozy signature and cover him in shame. Every page of my dossier is another string to control him with. Through such means, a humble professor of political science can gradually control this entire institution without the tedium of administrating it.
This brings us to the present. Given what you know, you will surely understand how bad Elderedge and I felt when, after many years of service, President Grackle retired to great honors in 2003. There wasn't much he could make Professor Kentwood do. In addition to the 6 prostitution busts, Kentwood also had him pegged in the case of the missing grant, the matter of the murdered mascot, 2 illegitimate children, the mystery of the missing mermaids, a shockingly inept Shakespeare forgery, a fraudulent non-profit, widespread grade inflation, a bootlegging operation, facilitating an atmosphere of corruption in the athletics program, and, most puzzlingly, a William Henry Ireland forgery. I'll be back with the story of how the good professor found his beloved pet in Episode 3 of Kentwood.